I'm really bad with microphones. So thank you guys for coming tonight. It's very exciting. This is an A-Space talk. We have an A-Space talk once a month on different topics, branding, business valuation. Today is about starting up in startup businesses in the Philippines and the woes they have. Um, Very excited to have David here. David Elefant, if you don't know, has been here for 23 years. He's a business consultant. He helps foreign businesses get started in the Philippines. He's also one of the only people I know in the business who frequently goes down to administrative buildings and tries to get what the real answer is. And this guy chases it and chases it and chases it because he doesn't settle for anything. So he's a guy in a place where regulations change all the time. He's a man who loves to know what's going on. So no further ado, here's David. He is going to kick off our talks. Oh, sorry, one more thing I wanted to mention. We are hoping to start something called A Space Academy, which will be a series of more in-depth talks for people if they have certain interests. So one could be taxation, one could be benefits and pay. So after this, we're going to do a little survey if you guys are interested and see what interests you guys have, so we can start this. All right, thank you very much.
Good evening. Um, there's all kinds of people here tonight, so I don't know much about you. If you already have a business or you're just looking to set up a business, um, who has a business? Okay, quite a few. And the rest of you are looking to start a business. Okay, so that's good. And can I have an idea of what kind of businesses you have? Your like local businesses, online businesses? Anybody want to give me some information here? Who else can like to say something? What kind of business? Anybody else? Right. Does anybody have anything problems in their business that they would like to have information about? So I'm just getting, some ideas so I know what to go over here. VIR, okay. Checklist, okay. And the part, yes, okay. All right. So maybe we'll start about the different kinds of business structures a little bit. You, sir, you already have a company here? Not yet. Hong Kong. And you're looking to set up here too? Oh, okay. So for the foreign entities, you could say you have a choice between a corporation or a branch office. And there's still the possibility for the Filipinos of a sole proprietorship and the partnership. Anybody here have a sole proprietorship? Okay. And you did that because it was the easiest thing. Okay. So now I'll tell you why I don't like sole proprietorships. First of all, you have unlimited liability. Something goes wrong, you lose everything. Second, you're the business. You can't just say, I'm going to sell this today because you can only sell the assets. So on one side, yes, you have a little advantage on taxation, but that's it. But the actual work to maintain it is the same for every business in the Philippines. It doesn't matter if you're a corporation, a branch, a partnership, a sole proprietorship. The issues you're going to have with the BIR are 99% the same for everyone. Okay? Do you have partners? Okay, so you see that's another issue with the sole proprietorship. partners because you can't make shares. It can only be agreements. So that's another issue. You want to raise capital also. Another thing with sole proprietorships, another con on it is large corporations do not want to work with sole proprietorships. I've seen it a few times already. Mega World, for example, they won't work with a sole proprietorship. I always recommend corporations, at least, if not a branch office, if it's a foreign company, because a corporation has limited liability. Partnership can have uh, some limited liability, but that's only for the partners that are not active in the business and the management. So there is such a thing as a limited partnership, but the general manager, the person really running the business, he has unlimited liability. So I always recommend a corporation. Okay, it's a little bit more complicated to set up, but in the long run, you want to have a real business, you need a corporation. And also it allows you to have investors, and it's a real business. There's different ways to set it up too. Most lawyers, though, that I've dealt with, do not ask questions for any of these guys that are around the SEC that you can ask for their help. They just say, here, fill out the form. That is not the way to do it. You have to think about the type of business you're doing and if you're going to have investors or not. There's a whole bunch of things that could happen in the corporation. So maybe later we can touch on some of those things. So a corporation, once you're finished with the SEC, comes the next part, which is much more complicated time-wise, especially if you're going to do it yourself, is getting all your business permits. In the Philippines, they love paperwork, right? So you're going to go first to the barangay, if you're lucky. If you're out in the province, you might still have to go to the purok, right? So you go to the purok, the barangay, then you're going to go to City Hall, and in City Hall, you're going to go to the zoning, etc., 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 right? So that's an issue too, and that costs money. Everybody's got their hand out for something there, and again, how much will it cost you? Metro Manila, no way it's going to cost you less than 15,000 pesos between that and the BIR. That's really, really the minimum, because some of it's based also on the size of your office. The larger your office, the more you're going to pay. Why? City Hall is looking at your square meters saying bigger office, bigger garbage collection fee. And all those things you're paying up front. It doesn't matter if your building is actually doing it, City Hall still charges you for it. Right? So those are those issues. And they keep changing. Like a couple of years ago, you could go to the BIR first while you're doing your processing of the business permits. Now they don't allow that. You have to get your business permits going first, then you can go to the BIR. And this is just about everywhere. Some of the new things they started here in Makati, for example, sanitary permits. They want all your employees now to get x-rays for TB. For those who don't know, TB is very common in the Philippines. And that was last year they started that with pictures of the employees. This year they came out with a new thing. They always find something new. They want police clearance or NBI clearance of the employee so you can get your final sanitary. Why they need that, I don't know. So those are the paperwork you have to go through now to get that part done. When you go to the BIR, you think we're in a modern country, everything's online. I don't know who's following the news lately, but the new things the BIR has come out with, nobody can even use the BIR website. That's how bad it is. Yes, it says they came out with a new regulation saying you have to file this online and that online, and usually they tell it to you like a couple of weeks before, and once that happens, everybody's rushing to get it done, and all of a sudden they have to maintain the site. You go there, it says website under construction, under maintenance, and you can't do anything. Meanwhile, if you don't file on time, you're going to get thousands of pesos in penalties. So that's the Philippines. They always say they're making it easier for you. Huh? Yes, bring a hard copy and bring it on a USB. We'll hard copy. So that's your proof that you gave it in. The only thing is when you get your USB back, usually has a virus on it. So these are the things you have to fool around with. If you do eventually, okay, when you register with the BIR, you have to come with manual books of accounts. They stamp them, and those are the books you're supposed to use. Depending on your type of business, you might have 4 books, you might have 6 books. You can later on try to get them to agree that you use QuickBooks or some other thing if it's on a desktop computer. They're not allowing yet anything on the cloud or online. And even if you do get their permission to use QuickBooks, for example, every couple of months you have to print everything out and bind it like a book. Okay, so it's going to take time till technology can make things easier in bookkeeping in the Philippines. Everybody who has employees, right? You're paying them, so you have an obligation to withhold taxes, and you can't negotiate with the BIR on this because it's not your money that you're not giving them in case you don't give it on time. It's somebody else's money from their salaries. If you don't pay your income tax as a company, that's different. You can maybe negotiate because say you're going broke or whatever. But the employee's money has to be given to the BIR. Very important. Usually, most things have to be filed with the BIR before the 10th of every month. Then when you have your employees, the next thing is all the social charges. You have to pay SSS, PhilHealth, and HDMF, or as it used to be called, PAGIB. Same thing. You have an employee share and employer share. Not paying Social Security is a criminal offense. Now I'm going to bring up something maybe for our friends in Singapore, because this is something that I've seen happen quite a few times. You'll be interested to hear it because I've had quite a few clients from Singapore. Same thing, they come here, we'll just start working a little bit, we'll just hire some guys, we won't set up a company yet. Usually what happens is, no matter how much you're paying them, when you do go and set up the company, all of a sudden now you have to withhold income tax. So you have to withhold income tax on their salaries, right? Everybody is going to start screaming. I was earning 30,000, I was earning 50,000 a month. Now I'm earning 30% less. So these are things you got to think about when you're hiring people, that they have to realize later on when you do open the business officially, you're not going to get the same money anymore. And I've seen it happen where a lot of people lose their employees because of that. So it's something to keep in mind. At the same time, I don't know where you're operating from, but you're running a business here without any papers, you're operating illegally. So that's also another thing. Anybody have some questions about the BIR, since that's something that everybody said is interesting? So you mean the location of the corporation? Okay. You can have a corporation anywhere you want as long as City Hall agrees. The SEC doesn't really care. They just want an address. But when you get your business permits, normally either you're in a place where there's commercial zoning, or if you work from your own home, there's usually no issue, unless you're in a subdivision where City Hall might say, do you have permission of the subdivision? Okay? Or for a condo, it could be the same. In a condo, you need the permission of the owner of the condo, and you'll need permission from the building admin. It may or may not pass. That really depends on which municipality you're in. Some places really say you have to have a commercial address. No. Not in the Philippines. In Singapore, yes. In the Philippines, the only thing you can do online is reserve the name. reservation's canceled. So if you want to be sure that the name is reserved, you have to go in person, stand in line at the SEC. And another good reason to do that is their database is really bad, their system. And one of the papers you have to submit to the SEC when you give in your documents is an undertaking to change the name in case somebody says they already have a name. So you can't be sure, no matter what, that that name is available. And they're trying to check with the DTI, to cross-check with the sole proprietorships and things, and it doesn't always work. And that's why it's getting harder and harder to choose a name. So now you really have to have long names, because all the short ones like, oh, this is similar to this one, similar to this one. You can't get anything. So it's not easy anymore here. First thing they do is like, does it resemble any known brand from overseas? And it says pass, and they go to this pass. And then in the end it comes always, oh, there's already 10 companies with something similar. But there's already, of course, there's tons of companies with the word solutions, services, etc. So you got to have like a name, at least 4 words. Otherwise, it's very hard. Any other questions about the SEC? Yes. No issue. No issues. You can still get your permits. Okay. Nobody really cares because in the end, you're still paying all these different windows, and it's only at the end that somebody really has to sign. And usually, it's a rubber stamp. So it's not a problem. The money still goes to City Hall. It's not going to, Benai or whoever the vice mayor is that's making believe he's running the city. Anybody else? Meaning you only pay commission and no salary? Yeah, why not? Yeah, any compensation is taxable. You pay somebody, it's taxable. Yes. Yeah, but then usually if it's just by commission, it's an independent person. You're not really a full-time employee because you can do what you want, right? There's a definition of who is a full-time employee, and that's somebody who works in a specific place and at set times by the company. Usually a person like that, he just goes around, gets business when he gets it, right? And truthfully, in the Philippines, I don't think you're going to find many people that work just for commission at a full-time job. Here, they need to have some kind of base pay and then get a commission. Or they'll say yes, and you'll see them once or twice, and within a week, I can assure you, they'll be gone. So it's not even worth trying, truthfully. Unless you've got a product that is so great that everybody I speak to will buy it, you're not gonna, it won't be successful. Yeah, so yeah. Okay. Your issue is not the problem that you're not allowed to. The problem is the BIR. The BIR will not recognize it as a company expense. That's where the issue is. So if you just say, here, I gave somebody some money because he brought in something, that's great. You're supposed to, first of all, also withhold on commissions, withholding tax, 10% or 15%, depending on the income of that person already. So usually you end up withholding the higher percentage because you can't be sure and you're responsible. But the VIR will not recognize it as an expense. So you're going to end up paying income tax on it if you have a problem still. That's the main thing. It's nothing else. Yeah. So other things that come up with employees, since we're on that subject, you should really, really have employment contracts so that you can lay down, what the person's job is, etc. Also, employee handbook. That's probably your most important thing. Yes, because the Philippines is a very pro-employee, pro-labor country, and it's very easy to start a labor case. All they have to do is walk into the double office, fill out a form, and it's very easy to fill out. It's mainly check boxes. It takes 5 minutes, and that's the start of a labor case. Now, if they have a little bit of a good case, you end up having to hire a lawyer probably, etc. That's why your employee handbook is really one of your most important things in your company. Employee handbook, no, doesn't need to be notarized. Okay, it's not, it needs to be signed that they received a copy and they read it, yes, but no notarization. And in there, you're going to lay out everything because the law gives you reasons to fire people, but you need to do it in a certain way. Say somebody came late today. Okay, happens once. He came late again. Came late again. It's like, oh, what am I going to do with this guy? So verbal warning, say, keeps it up. Written warning, keeps it up again. Maybe 2 days suspension without pay. Then finally, just doesn't care. You can fire him. But again, it doesn't happen just that easily. There's a due process. You have to sit down with the person, give it to them in writing eventually, and give him the right to respond. And it's 5 days. You're going to say, here, you're suspended without pay for 2 days. This is what you did wrong according to the employee handbook. And this is the penalty. Why shouldn't we give you this penalty? And they have the right to respond. If they don't respond, no problem. And even to the point where he's allowed to bring a lawyer with him, or counsel, if it's the time where he'll be terminated from his job. Doesn't mean you have to accept what they say, but you still have to follow the process. If you don't follow the process, it's automatically a labor case. Yes. So yes, you can hire trainees, no issue. I would say maximum 3 months. The issue with that is it's like a specific contract for a specific term. So normally you'll have to keep them for the whole 3 months. It's not a probationary. So if you really need 3 months, go for 3 months. If not, make it shorter because when that contract's over, you don't have to take them as probationary. Yes, after that, you can make them probationary. There's different opinions on how long that could be afterwards. And the only way to be sure is to see in court. And unfortunately, in the Philippines, jurisprudence doesn't mean anything. The Supreme Court has the habit of flip-flopping here. It doesn't matter, you have three decisions that kind of follow each other. The Supreme Court, all of a sudden, the next case is different. So what could happen is, say you did a 1 month trainee. Now the maximum you're allowed to do probationary is 6 months. Some people say you did 1 month of trainee already, that's part of the 6 months. Some people say it doesn't matter. There's even a Supreme Court case that said at the end of the probationary period, you don't have to hire somebody because it's the end of the contract of probation. But in general, it's not accepted. But what you do have to do during the probationary period is do evaluations regularly, and if they don't meet the standards, that's when you can get rid of that person. But you do have to give them the standards. You can't just say, here's your evaluation, you didn't pass. They have to know right away, when you hire them, this is what they'll be evaluated on. If not, it doesn't work, you have a labor case again. And it doesn't matter if people say, oh, it's okay, I got fired, etc., etc. They might be a nice guy and you think there's not going to be a problem. What happens usually is they go home and they see their mother and father and they see their cousins. What happened? I got fired. What do you mean you got fired? You just let it like that? Go make a labor case. And that's usually what happens. It doesn't matter how nice he was, how you thought everything was going well. All of a sudden, a week later, you have a labor case. So it's very important. Contracts, everything in writing. And you're allowed to amend your company employee handbook. You don't have to have it just fixed for forever. You're allowed to amend it whenever you want. The main thing is the penalty should be like according to what they did wrong. You can't say the guy came late once and he's going to be fired. That doesn't work, right? Of course, if somebody stole something, he can be fired right away. So it all depends, there has to be a balance. Anybody have more questions about labor? Yes. Okay. When you hear virtual staff, if you're doing it directly, that would be the same as an employee, or like we mentioned before, they have to be registered as a sole proprietorship to be considered an independent contractor for company expense. If you're doing it through some kind of platform like Odesk or something, you're probably covered because you're not the one paying directly. But until now, I don't think there's been any cases brought to courts to talk about such a thing, so you're probably okay. For overseas, now, there's still things you have to take into consideration. It's not just because of that. There might be intellectual property things you have to take care of. So it's a virtual person, but he's doing things for you that you may not want other people to know about. So you might want a non-disclosure, a non-compete. There's different documents you can still get people to sign. Okay. Okay. Why do people notarize things in the Philippines? For the notaries to make money. No, no. But the thing is, in court, if you bring a document that's not notarized, it's kind of like, eh. So they notarize it because the law requires it if you want to use it in court. So some companies notarize all their employee contracts and some don't. The thing is to make sure your employees are happy. That's all. If they're not happy, you're going to have labor cases. Okay, who else has some problems? What do you mean classify? All right. So in the Philippines, when you register a corporation with the SEC, in the primary purpose, you have to be very specific on the nature of the many reasons, because foreign ownership for certain kinds of businesses. Number two, because certain kinds of businesses are required to have a minimum paving capital. Like, for example, you would like to set up a local recruitment company. You need a minimum capital of 500,000 pesos paid in. You need to have a certain size office. You need to get an endorsement from the Department of Labor. So there's really, that's why you can't just have, like in some countries, you can just write any legal business. Here it doesn't work. You have to be very specific for the primary. The secondary purposes do not have to be that specific. Some people just make a very shortcut thing and say everything that a company is allowed under Article 36 of the Corporation Code. But then that brings up other issues later on, because you're going to have all kinds of other documents made up, maybe when you do a board of directors meeting and other things like that. So it's better to try to spread out the primary purpose as broad as possible so that you don't have issues later on. Corporate secretary has to be somebody who is knowledgeable in the corporation code and how things work with the SEC. Usually, it should either be an accountant or a lawyer that has at least a good idea on business practices and how to make certain kinds of legal documents. What is the role of the corporate secretary? The corporate secretary is the person in the company that maintains the company's records. The records are all the shareholders' meetings, what happened there, who attended the meetings. He's also the person that sends out the invitations to these meetings, all the board meetings, all the decisions had in the board. They also make secretary certificates, which are needed. For example, to open a bank account, you need a secretary certificate, which is an extract of a board of directors meeting naming who are the people that have the right to sign on the bank account. So these are the things that they do. They also maintain the shareholders' records. So you have a stock book. You have to write down who you issued share certificates to, when they were sold, which were canceled, etc. So these are the things that the corporate secretary has to do. So it's very important to have the yes. Yes, my company does these things. Yes. The thing is, um, I do it in a particular way. Thank you. I do it in a specific way where I ask every client a lot of questions, not only what they're doing, they intend to do right now, but what they intend to do in the future with the company, so that it can be set up in the beginning the right way. You don't have to come back and start amending things every couple of weeks. And most people, even the lawyers, they don't ask any questions. They say, "What kind of business you do?" That's it. That's the only question. Or maybe, yeah, what's the name of the company you want? So that's part of the issues here in the Philippines. Also, there's a lot of misinformation. I just had somebody that sent me somebody. He set up a BPO, and he was told it has to be 60% Filipino. It does not, because it's an export enterprise. Anything that's export can be 100% foreign owned with minimal capital, unless you're looking at some kind of tax incentives, investments, etc. And at the same time, he thought he was going to be in Makati, and he ended up in Taguig, and we had to redo all the papers. And in the end, he just said, "Forget it. Let's just set up a new company." Yes. of misinformation. Okay, you have an IT company and you're doing work for overseas, or or you're selling locally. Where's the money coming from? Okay, so all the money that comes to the Philippines or in the Philippines comes from overseas. That makes you an export enterprise where you can be 100% foreign owned with minimal capital. Usually the $200,000, it's not 250, it's $200,000 paid in capital. That is for foreign owned companies. Once you go over 40% foreign ownership and you're catering to the local domestic market. Okay? But there's other things. There's other things you might want to look at. I don't know how big your company is going to be here. You might want to look at being located in a PESA building for tax incentives, meaning no VAT to pay, no income tax, etc. Then you need to have a certain minimum investment. But it doesn't have to be $200,000 either. It really depends on the number of employees. It's usually $5,000 per seat, which means everything in the office. You walk into a place and you need to renovate it, you need to buy furniture, you need to buy software, everything goes in there. And everything has to be brand new. You can't buy secondhand stuff. Yeah, you have to file for an expansion. Well, when you decide you're going to do it, because it's worth it too because it kind of extends your tax-free status. Well, not just for one person, it's not worth it, but because you could have different shifts too. There's different things. Look, now it's $5,000. Last year was 2,500. It's gone up. They keep changing things, and they look at they see too many people are coming in to do BPOs. It's attractive. Why should we give the same incentives? But there might be some changes this year. There's some serious talks about lowering the tax rates completely, and it might happen because of next year's election. So you might get lucky. They already made some big changes this year for the employees on the bonuses, much higher tax rate amounts. Went from 30,000 to 82,500 pesos. Yeah. So usually included in there is the 13th month pay already. Usually that was eaten up pretty fast because that was limited before the 30,000, and they added on in some other benefits that are tax free also. There's a whole bunch of things, small things that are tax free called de minimis benefits. I don't know if you ever heard of that. So that's only worth a couple of thousand pesos a month if you give it out monthly. But now they've added on a couple of other things where you can have like performance incentives and some other things. These are new things that came out this year. I, you give me your email address, I will send you a 6-page write-up about payroll, salary, and benefits in the Philippines. Everybody can have it. I don't charge for that. Okay? Because if you look at the BIR website, you can find all these things, except it will be like in 6 or 7 documents. Because every time they make a change, what they do is revenue regulation, I don't know, 02 from 1998. So that's where it started, say. So they made a change a couple years later. So what they do is the things that didn't change, they just put X's. And then the one that changed, they added, they just put a line. So you got to start looking through all these documents and try to find them. So I've got it all compiled already. Okay, so whoever wants it can just give me their email address and I will send it to you. Anything else about salaries? especially with foreigners, a lot of the lawyers do not know the laws. They may be a great lawyer, but if they've never had many foreign clients, they really don't know what they're doing. Okay, so I have somebody that works with us that's done a lot of labor law. It's not an issue. Actually, that's one of the things we're thinking about doing as one of the next talks, something very specific on labor. Yeah, payroll is a service. The primary purpose of the corporation, you can just write business process outsourcing. And you can, yeah, if somebody's giving you work, it's outsourcing. So it doesn't make it, outsourcing doesn't have to be international. Plenty of people outsource locally too. So there's no issue on that. You can just keep it. You don't want to. You want to try to make your primary purpose as broad as possible, because you might add other services, or you might pivot along the way, and you don't want to have to go back and change everything in your papers. It costs money every time you want to do that. Okay? Five. You need five incorporators. Incorporators are like founding members, and you need five directors. They can be the same people, or they can be different. Now you're going to say, why do I need five people? That's the law. Unfortunately, maybe one day it'll change. I know the SEC is looking at changes, but until that happens, it's not a priority in Congress. They couldn't care less. Now, you're going to say, but I don't want partners. Well, they're not really partners. There are some issues here, which I will explain. Say you decide, okay, to be a director, a person must own one share in the company. But you could have an agreement with them called the beneficiary trust agreement, saying you're only holding that share on behalf of the real owner to be able to be a director. That is legal. Where the issue is, being a director is a legal responsibility. Even if he never signs anything, he can still be in trouble. If you didn't pay taxes or something, the tax department could try to bring him to court, so just as well as everyone else in the company. The other thing you can do with that is, in case you're scared, you might disappear one day, and then you can't find him, or goes overseas, you get him to sign. Okay, in the beneficiary trust agreement, you're also putting power of attorney. That power of attorney is allowing you as the beneficial owner to transfer his share to somebody else. So you're preparing already in advance a deed of sale of that one share that he already pre-signed, and giving you the right in the beneficiary trust agreement to insert somebody else's name as a new owner of the share. Another document I would recommend is to already get the resignation in advance. And all you have to do is then fill in the dates. And this way, you have basically everything covered, and you don't have to worry if you can't find that person anymore and you need to put in a new director. Yes. No, because you're allowed 100% foreign ownership of an export company. It's only a violation of the anti-dummy law if there's a problem with foreign ownership of some kind. No, not at all. Now, say you make your shares a par value of 1 peso. Do you know what par value is? Okay. When you register your company, you have to make some decisions. One is, what's your authorized capital? which is the capital that you'll be able to issue. The other is the par value of each share. So say you have 1 peso par value, that'll give you 400,000 shares at 1 peso. So that's 400,000 shares, 1 pesos, authorized capital, 400,000 pesos. Okay? Then you have the number of shares that will actually be subscribed and hopefully paid for by the shareholders. Say 100,000. Why 100,000 shares? Because the minimum issued in the beginning has to be at least 25%. But it does not need to be fully paid up. It could be 25% of that paid up. But then you owe that money to the company. If something happens, you still have a liability to pay up the difference. Some people, they don't have money, they don't do the full payout. Or the other reason they do that is because they want to have a higher capital. And put the money in later. It's nothing to do with the contract. It's you to decide as either the sole owner, the real owner of the company. So in the end, you're giving out a couple of shares to other people to be able to have those 5 people. They don't really have anything. What's one share out of 100,000? 0.0099, right? So it's nothing. Plus, you have all those other documents. If he makes trouble for any reason, doesn't want to sign something, you need it, well, he resigned. So this is a way to cover yourself. Okay, but somebody has to sell them the shares. Okay, so the board of directors can decide who gets shares, but at the same time, there's under the law preemptive rights. Unless you decide not to have preemptive rights and you put in the articles of incorporation. So that means every time there's more shares issued, everybody who's already a shareholder has the right to buy more shares according to the percentage he already owns. Now, if he doesn't want to buy, he gets diluted. That means the other shareholders have the right to buy those shares. Okay? Yes. No problem. You want to find real partners. So you're talking about dummies. Okay, again, that really depends on the nature of the business. If it's something that can be foreign owned or not, and what percentage. So if you do take dummies, which a lot of people do, you're breaking the law. What kind of business are you looking at? Important. Okay, wholesale can be 100% foreign owned as long as you have a paid-in capital of $200,000. Well, that's what. Okay, so that's where the problem is. So in that case, it would have to be set up as a 60% Filipino company. You wouldn't have to have the $200,000. As soon as you go over the 40%, that's where you need the $200,000. So either you're gonna have to find real partners or take a risk. And if somebody does find out you're using dummies and they go see the authorities, you can lose the whole company. And the whistleblower gets a reward. I always advise people, try to do a business where you don't have to have dummies. But look, you'll see a lot of foreigners, like say have restaurants and things, they're breaking the law. for example, for a restaurant is if you have a hotel. Because restaurant, hotel is not considered the main business, but it's part of a service that normally a hotel has. So there's exceptions, but you have to know how to fit it in. Yes. There's no issues, but you can't transform one legal entity into another. So what you do is you set up a corporation and you close the sole proprietorship. There's no way just to boom. No, no way. Doesn't work. It doesn't matter. Whatever kind is, you get a branch office, you want to make it into a corporation. It, yes, but you'll just have to do a little bit extra paperwork. Saying you'll have to make a paper saying you allow the corporation to have that name. Because there are cases like that where I have a sister companies kind of they want to have partially the same name, so you need a board of directors resolution and a secretary certificate that saying yes, we will allow this entity to use the name. So it can't be done. Now about family, family's family, and it's I mean, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. It depends on the family, but it depends also if they're putting money, or they're completely silent, or you just go to them, when you need help. It really depends on your family and how you get along. You can end up, you have a fight. It could be not such a great thing. What can I say? But that really depends on your family. And when you're saying events are small here, that's not true. There's plenty of big events. Mhm. Right. Hey, you're subcontracting out the work. So what? What's the difference? That people do that all the time. They always bring in people just for specific projects. I have a friend who has a pretty old events company. I can tell you, he's made a lot of money. Truthfully, I don't know. I don't know. I've never really discussed his business with him. All I know is he can afford anything he wants and travel overseas anytime he wants, and he's doing very well. He works with Nestle, he works with a lot of the other big companies, and he always has to take like temporary employees for promos and things. He's been doing this for how many years? A long time. He made a lot of money. It's a good business. Yes. Okay. Okay. No, you don't have to upgrade, but if at the end of the year that money is still there, at the end of the fiscal year, the BRR will want you to pay the doc stamp on it, the same as if you had issued shares. Like when you issue shares in a company, you have to pay a doc stamp. I don't remember the exact percentage, but it's like 1 peso for every 200 pesos of capital or something like that. It's not much, but if you just put it in as shareholders' advances, they consider it like shares. So you have to pay that doc stamp. And then the other, if you don't want to have that issue, is to make a loan agreement. Yeah. And then this way you can charge a little interest. There has to be an interest in it. You can't just say it's a free loan. So there has to be a real contract. And it makes it easier also in case something happens in the company, who put this money in, etc. So it's a little bit better. If you want, you can amend it. You can amend your articles of incorporation if you don't have any more authorized capital from where to issue shares. If you're paid up and your authorized are the same, that means you can't issue any more shares. So then you'll have to make an amendment. Okay. The other thing there is when you become profitable, if you have retained earnings that are higher than your capital, you're going to have to pay some penalties on there if you don't make a dividend. Yes, yes, yes. But what you can do, if you don't want to issue too many more shares, you can make them at a low par value and sell them for a higher amount. It's not because the share has on it 1 peso that you have to get 1 peso for it when you bring in other people. You can get whatever people are willing to pay for it. If they think your company has value, that's what you get for it. So I was just told I only have time for 2 more questions. So who's next? Yes, ladies first. Well, first of all, if it's a corporation, the shareholders have a right to a certain amount of information. That's it. They don't have the right to run the company. So it's whoever owns the majority of the shares that makes the decisions. How do you decide who's the directors? The shareholders get together and elect the directors. Then the officers are elected by the board of directors. So you have 90% of the company, well, you're going to decide who the directors are. It doesn't matter who owns the other 10%. They don't have enough votes to do anything. And if you really look, most of the companies here, they are even on the stock market. They, for a few exceptions, most of them have the minimum float out there, meaning the minimum number of shares in the public required by law. And even then, the ones that have more than that usually don't have more than 30%. Why? Because there are certain decisions you need 2/3 of the vote of all the shareholders. So as long as you control 2/3, you do what you want. You still have to ask their opinion because they have to vote on it, but it's still up to you. That's why people have to know the law and do some due diligence. It's a good idea to have partners. Oh, look, a company on the stock market has a lot of partners, but they don't have much to say. So it all depends if you're looking for silent partners or not. And also, you have to realize that in a smaller company, if there's no dividends, you may never get any money. It's you as the controlling shareholder that will make that decision. And the only time a company really has a value is when you can sell those shares to somebody else. So if somebody has only a few shares, most probably nobody's going to want to buy them anyhow. Like, in a lot of startups today in the tech field, people are saying, oh, come work for shares. We don't have money, but we're going to have a great company. It's very nice, but it's a piece of paper that has no value until somebody's willing to buy it. And it may never have value, especially if you only have a few. Yes. Okay. You have what in the Philippines? Public corporations and private corporations. basically the structure is pretty much a little bit. Normally, most people are setting up is a closed corporation where you're limited to 19 shareholders or lenders if it's not from a bank. Okay, so you're stuck there at that number. So you already have five people, which are the five directors, minimum by law, maximum is 15. So each of those directors has shares, that's already five shareholders. You have 14 more people who can become shareholders without much issue or lend you money. Okay, because if you have already 19 shareholders and you go to a private person to lend you money, I mean, or a non-banking institution, you're not allowed to take a loan, even as a loan. Now, once you want to go higher than that, a lot of paperwork at the SEC to allow you to do that. But the real level of a public corporation is usually when you have 200 shareholders and 50 million pesos capital. Okay, so I think most of you don't have to worry about that, at least not yet. Hopefully one day. All right, I think that wraps it up. Thank you all for coming. Whoever would like my business card can come over and have one. You want to ask me some questions by email, I will answer you. Okay? Thank you. Here's Rob.
Thanks again to David. I've sat down with him many times and picked his brain, and it's always fun. He has great stories about everything he does. Thanks again, guys. A Space Talks. We're gonna hopefully do more of this. Hopefully, we're gonna dive a little deeper next time into some of your subject expertise. Check us out. I think there'll be Mike has a store. A Space Academy. Tell us a little bit. And then we'll have talks on a lot of things in academies on many things. So this is just the first one. Awesome. Thanks again, David. Thank you guys for coming. And I think we're gonna stick around. There'll be people sticking around, grab a beer, hang out, chat.